All right, we're going to just pull together some things. We've done a little bit of it. Some of it's new. This is in the Windows environment. But establishing access control lists or file permissions for users, and then using a PowerShell script just to list and see that we've got them right. Now I'm demoing something here. It's not exactly the assignment you have. You have one coming up where you've got users to create, and I think I got it up here somewhere, or I can get it, and I probably should have had it up. And I think you might be working on a upcoming tech practice. So always look at the tech practice. Sometimes I demo the how-to in general, but not the specific. But I will be asking you, or to show me, I'll be looking for these specific things. Creating users, creating files and folders, creating groups, putting users in groups, and then giving permissions. All right, so that I wanted to kind of run through some of the how-to. So I'm up in my, and I'll maximize this, I'm up in my course VM, and I do give you this little PowerShell script that you can use to list the permissions. We'll get that a little bit later. So actually, this is using Internet Explorer in the VM, but I'll come back to that. But here we are. Yeah, it's got some status updates that I don't want to bother with. I kind of hate to install my own. So is there a way to make that go away? Well, we'll ignore it for now, and I'll update later. First thing we need to do is get into Active Directory, users and groups. So what I did this MMC. Starting with the Windows Server 2016. So I'm just doing MMC, getting it up, running the command. If you remember, this is where you can add snap-ins. And snap-ins are the tools, so rather than have it where you could search, and I've gotten in the habit of that, and some of my other videos show that, but we want Active Directors, users and computers, and we can add that and then OK. And so this is a way to get in. You might have noticed there are a lot of other tools in there, and we've been through the MMC thing before, and so whenever you're looking for a tool, we can get there. All right, so we're used to this idea. I've right-clicked and new, and I'm going to make a new user, and and nothing. You've done this a lot, so we've done it with code. Here we're doing using the GUI. This person's probably never going to log on. Depends if we made the if we updated our group policies, and a lot of us did. All right, so adding a user is no great big thing, and we can also then add groups. And so we want users to get permissions, but the best way to assign users permissions is put them in the right groups and give the groups permissions. That way, if a user changes roles, we just have to move them to the right groups, so the groups already have the right permissions. So we haven't created a group before. It's not very hard. I forget, but I'm just going to call this guy a group. Okay, we don't. It's a security group. It's going to have global across the domains. And if I open this up, there is a group here and alpha user. A couple of ways you can do this, kind of like we did it with the remote desktop. I can right-click, and actually there's add to group right here. I can come into properties for the user and see what it's member of and add it there. I can go the other way. I don't think this is on the list, but I can click on the group, go to its properties, and see members. And I'll come this way and right. So I put a user. We can search for it. So created user or users, created groups. There's always going to be a little of a hierarchy. I didn't try to do it in this assignment. What if a group, a member is in one group and it's allowed permission, but a member of another group and it's denied permission, or not, and maybe a third group and the permission is not spoken of. Deny is always going to trump allow is always going to trump not spoken of. Okay, so when there's conflicting, if a particular group is denied permission and another particular group is given permission, then that deny is going to override, and that's the way it should be. Good. So we created users and groups. I'm now just going into the file system. I'm doing this all in the GUI. We could do it in code, and that might be better. I'm just, even as admin, going into here in the documents, right-clicking and making a new folder that I'm just going to call this ACL for Access Control List Demo. And in here, I'm going to create another folder called A Files. And maybe I don't have to be in there, but I can start up Notepad. And I think I had to do something where you just have some text. So created by T. Schultz and placed in a files folder. So I gave you some instructions in the assignment about exactly what we want there. Come on now, save file, and we'll save as. Probably will come to that. Here I've got to then get it in the right place. All right. And got to give it a name and read your assignment on the exact names, and you'll get them exact. That probably won't. It's kind of just this idea of access control. All right, good. And so access control, and with the GUI, it's pretty easy. So if I wanted to do something about this overall folder, ACL demo, I can right-click on it, and it's in Properties and Security. So right now the system has, it's going to override everybody. Administrators has full control. T. Schultz, which is also, the administrator who built the system, has full control. What we can do if we wanted to, allow this group of users in there, we can click at it, right? And we can add. And again, it's best to add. I think that was the name of the group. No, couldn't find it. I forget what it was. I called it a group, but let's pretend I didn't know that, so I'm going to cancel here. Well, I know it's something. If we just get rid of this and click on Advanced, this is just in case, you can look for, kind of starts with, and you can even object types, users, groups, built-in security principles. If you happen to know, gosh, I know it's just a group, but I've kind of forgotten the name for it. Fine now. Oh, that's right. It was a group, not that. And down here, you can provide the permissions. I forget what I asked you to do. What I'm going to do is give a group, every member of a group, read and execute. Whoops. Okay, meaning I want a group. And as a default, you gave it read, execute, list folder contents, and read. So a group can't, remember this folder I created in my documents as an admin. Probably not the best place in real life if I wanted other people to be working on a folder. We're working on how to set security, but this lets then anybody in a group read, execute, and list folder contents. And that's kind of the, so if I apply or OK, then they're in there. And so I'm going to dive in here, and let me just, while I'm here, make another folder. And by the way, these, when you do it on a folder, those permissions propagate. You could go back and look at that. That is, right-clicking and properties. Settings decided to get slow on me. And security, and you can get in advanced and change how, to disable inheritance. But usually what we want is, if I give them permission to this root, they get everything underneath. And, this tree. And if I want to change that, then I go in and work on that. There are times, no, I just want them to access whatever's in here, but not subfolders. So I'm going to work on B files here. I don't have anything in there. but I'm going to look at its properties and its security. And notice, as I said, a group has permission there because it inherited it from this guy. I could, if I wanted, and maybe I'll do it just for fun, is, okay, yeah, this isn't, yeah, so you can remove them. Okay, so what I did was, just to show that I could, was say, you know, a group can list all this, but I want to deny them permission, kind of override, and that message came up and said that denying will override, that for B files, anybody in a group is not going to be allowed, right? And, okay, and then I'm just going to come in here and I'm just showing some things. Again, you look at I'm going to just get this one particular file, go to its properties and its security, and say, you know, even though they can read and execute and read that file, I'd like to, for a group people, just that particular file that they can modify and write. Okay, so they couldn't modify and write everything in the folder, but they can modify and write that particular file. Okay, let's see. Oh, I didn't want deny. What I wanted to was, let's take that off. I wanted to put allow modify. Okay, you know, the other thing would have worked, but I wanted them to allow modify and write. So a group can modify and write this file. They can read what's in A files. They can't do anything with what's in B files. And this ACL demo thing got permissions. Well, you're going to have several groups, and it's hard. You can kind of click through and do this stuff. But I gave you a tool, and this is the tool I want you to run. Oops, I didn't need to get out. I was already there. That I wanted you to run, and let's see up here. I gave you a link. So take the link. There's one in the TechPrac. This, when you click it, it opens up as a text file, but you ought to recognize this as PowerShell. And so I just copied it all. And so when I say install in your machine, I am just saying maybe just get the PowerShell ISE open, paste it in, save it, and then run it. And I will run it and show you kind of what mine looks like. Yours ought to represent what whatever the assignment asks for. You know, the right. Okay, just showing this quick thing. I'm just going to paste this in here. Something that you ought to appreciate. Notice that it does take a parameter that is not mandatory, that identifies the root path. Okay, so you could run this script and give it a parameter out to the side, or dash root path in a parameter. It defaults just to whatever folder that you happen to be in. So I am going to be in my documents folder, and where the ACL demo is, because what it's going to do is get the permissions for, if you don't give it a parameter, wherever you are all the way down. If you do give it a parameter, then it will do it for, use whatever you provided as the root. And about the biggest thing that's happening is, about get child item, right? That just says find, in this recurse says find all folders and subfolders and files within all the subfolders all the way down, beginning at whatever this path is that we provided. And there's this other commandlet, get ACL. I did put us all in a list, and I used a for next loop to kind of format what it is that we wanted. So if I'll have to save this, and I'm making sure I save it in my documents. Maybe I'll call it show ACL. This one. And I think if I run it as it does now, I'm going to get all of this. let me instead go show dot back. I think that will do it. Okay. Right, so this one, was here a document, so ACL demo, it had understood that, okay, I'm going to start in documents, but the path from there is ACL demo. And good. So then it picks, it says, A files, has allow, read, and execute, synchronize, these things that maybe we didn't know about, system administrators has full control. So that's showing it to me. When we get down into B files, well, we have to realize that the deny is going to override the allow, but it's just showing me what I've done. And then for this file going text, see, it's allow, modify, and synchronize. So that particular commandlet then in a nice organized way shows me everything. And you might have forgotten this trick when I want to say, oh, well, Schultz wants that in a file. Nothing happened, but something did happen because there is now this show ACL, ACL list dot text that has that. Okay, and so that's the thing that on the assignment I want you to turn in. All right, so we did a lot through the GUI here. Don't forget to get the this MMC. When just now we never really have taken time to look at all of the things that are available, but certificates and maybe even a SQL Server Configuration Manager. We'll be working with that sometimes. But kind of all these things, Firewall we'll be working with in a future assignment. Kind of some of the system tools, and then you can snap in, and we talked about in another one where you could save that particular set of settings and work from there. But access control lists, kind of really just an intro using the GUI, should get you through the assignment. All right, until next time.